You see the second experiment. Experiment to prove that carbon dioxide is produced during the respiration in germinating seed. Here two flasks like A and B is taken. In one it is soaked bean seeds are used, and in another flask B boiled and dead seeds are there. Then again after 2 or 3 days we can test the carbon dioxide using the lime water. Because the carbon dioxide is heavier than the normal air, if we tilt the flask we can see, we can pour that carbon dioxide present in the flask, we can pour it because it is heavier, that will flow down into the test tube. You can see in figure 7.3 you can see that it is taken the lime water. Lime water ചുണ്ണാമ്പ് വെള്ളം എന്ന് പറയുന്നതാണ്. Lime water, if we shake the test tube that containing carbon dioxide, that lime water will turn into milky. From that we can understand that the flask A containing the carbon dioxide. If we pour test for carbon dioxide is, if we do it for flask B, that lime water will not turn milky. From that we can understand that the soaked living seed only breathing and it is producing carbon dioxide. Then another alternative method for the same experiment. Here you can see 4 flasks are taken. In figure 7.4 you can see there. Then air is pumped through in the flask A. You can see flask A, B, C and D here. 4 flasks are taken. Through the flask A, there is potassium hydroxide solution is taken. It can absorb, like the soda lime, it can absorb the carbon dioxide present in the air. So when we pass the air, pump the air through the flask A, the potassium, through the potassium hydroxide solution, it absorbs all the carbon dioxide present in the air. Then we can see that through the another delivery tube is present there. From flask A, it is connecting to the flask B. When it passes through the B, we know that it is containing the lime water. Lime water will not turn milky in flask B because all the carbon dioxide present in flask A is absorbed by the potassium hydroxide solution present in flask A. Then again we can see that from flask B, you know that lime water is not turning milky, so carbon dioxide free air, without carbon dioxide the air is coming to the flask C. The water that entering in the sea will not have carbon dioxide inside it. Then we know that it contains the germinating seed inside it. So the germinating seed will, by its breathing, it can produce CO2 or carbon dioxide. So the air from the flask C is again passed through the lime water containing in the flask D. Flask D has again lime water to check the carbon dioxide. So we can see that in flask D the lime water is turning milky. From that we can understand that the germinating seeds are producing carbon dioxide, so that the air coming from the sea can turn the lime water milky. Then again another experiment also in the same way. You can see a potted plant, experiment 3. Carbon dioxide is produced by the green plants during respiration. A potted green plant is covered with a bell jar. A jar is covered, bell jar is used to cover the potted plant. Again you can see soda lime, air that is coming from the outside. In flask A, you know that a chemical is placed where air is pumped into the flask. You can see the soda lime is there. Air is absorbed from that tube. Then it is passing through the lime water. In flask A, it is containing the lime water. So the lime water is clear. It is not milky. So we can understand that soda lime absorb all the carbon dioxide that coming from the air. So carbon dioxide free air is coming through the bell jar and it is passing out, and it is passing through the lime water containing flask in the B. From that we can understand that lime water is turning milky. That shows the carbon dioxide is produced by the potted plant. From that we can understand that green plants are breathing, and when it breathes it can also produce carbon dioxide. The same we cannot do in the sunlight. If in the presence of sunlight, if the plant produce some carbon dioxide, that may be used for the photosynthesis. So we cannot do the experiment in the presence of sunlight. Again, another experiment is shown here. You see, experiment to show that the heat is evolved during respiration. You know that in our body heat is produced by the respiration. Here germinating seeds are taken here. Instead of as a control experiment, you studied what is control experiment. As the control experiment, dead seed with antiseptic is used. You know why the antiseptic is used? To prevent the bacterial decay. Then after 2 or 3 hours, if we are putting a thermometer, if we introduce a thermometer into the flask, we can understand that the rise in the mercury level you can see in the thermometer. From that we can understand that the germinating seeds are producing heat, but in the dead seed we cannot see the rise in the temperature. Then another experiment to demonstrate anaerobic respiration. Anaerobic respiration meaning the respiration without oxygen. Here it is shown here. Here mercury is taken. You can see the mercury. It is shown in the black color. Really mercury is in silver color, but here in the test tube and in beaker mercury is taken. In flask, in the first experimental setup, you can see the whole test tube is covered, completely filled with mercury. Some germinating seed, that seed coat is removed in the germinating seed to enhance the release of the gas. So seed coat is removed from the germinating seed and it is introduced into the top of the test tube. If we because mercury is heavy, the without any force the seed will float at the tip of the test tube. You can see. Then after 1 or 2 days we can see a gas is collected at the tip of the test tube. If we check for it, that will be the carbon dioxide. That carbon dioxide is produced by the seeds. That is, without oxygen the seed can respire. You study that what is anaerobic respiration. Without any gas, with the presence of certain enzyme, the food that stored in the seed that will be that can breathe anaerobically, and because of the anaerobic respiration some carbon dioxide gas is produced. If we introduce some KOH or potassium hydroxide into the carbon dioxide collected region, that potassium hydroxide will absorb all the carbon dioxide. So again the mercury level will rise. From that we can understand that the gas collected is carbon dioxide. At the tip of the test tube the gas collected is carbon dioxide. We can prove it using the if we put some KOH at the tip, introduce some potassium hydroxide into the test tube. Then respiration is contrasted with the photosynthesis. Here one table is here. You know that photosynthesis is a anabolic process, respiration is a catabolic process. Anabolism meaning constructive. Photosynthesis, glucose is made, but in respiration glucose molecules broken down. Two reactions are opposite. Photosynthesis and respiration contrasted. Let us read the steps. Points. First one, occur only in the presence of chlorophyll. You know that photosynthesis occur in the presence of chlorophyll. Chlorophyll meaning green colored substance in the plant. Respiration occur in all living cell. If it is a animal cell, respiration occur. But in plant cell only photosynthesis occur. Occur only in the presence of light. Photosynthesis, you know that sunlight is necessary. Respiration occur in at all time. Then the third point, use carbon dioxide and water. Photosynthesis need carbon dioxide and water. Respiration uses oxygen and glucose. Oxygen and glucose is necessary for respiration. Here, photosynthesis, oxygen is released. In respiration, carbon dioxide is released as the end product. Then, photosynthesis, light energy is converted into chemical energy and stored. Then, respiration, chemical energy is partially converted into heat and partially into useful energy for various activities. Then, photosynthesis result in gain in weight. A plant body or become because of accumulation of starch or glucose that gain weight. But respiration result in weight loss. When we respire, our body weight will be reduced. Our food will be that will be used by the body. So the result in loss in the weight. Then seventh point, food or glucose is manufactured. Then food glucose is broken down. It is a constructive process. The other is the destructive process. Then respiration in plant compared with the respiration in animals. You see, there is no gaseous transport. The respiratory gases simply diffuse and out to cell diffusion. In plants, you know that there is no only stomata, through the stomata or lenticel or through the body surface, gaseous exchange takes place. Then again, the second point, one of the end product of anaerobic respiration in plants are ethanol or ethyl alcohol, while in animals, lactic acid. I told you the lactic acid is produced in human body or in animal body. Then the third point, in plant, the process produces little heat compared to animals. We cannot feel the body heat in animal body like we cannot feel the heat in plant body like the animal body. I shall send the note after this. Thank you for listening the class.